Hi everyone, it's been a while. Today I want to talk about the new Doom: The Dark Ages game that's going to coming out next year. Now, I was really hoping that the next id Software game would be a Quake game. Actually, a few weeks before the reveal of Doom: The Dark Ages at the Xbox Showcase, I was working on a top 10 wish list for a theoretical Quake game. But I'm still interested in Software's next Doom installment. I really enjoy Doom Eternal, and honestly, for the past few years, I've been nonstop watching Doom content online. Now, we got a trailer and an interview, but a lot of the game is still a mystery. We know it promises to be a completely different experience to both Eternal and 2016, and based on the comments of the interviews and the footage of the trailer, it looks a lot more like the original Doom 1 and 2 games. Slower, less verticality, enemy projectiles serving as our maze to weave in and out of, and it seems less cartoony, less flashy, a bit more dark and gothic, with large open levels, seemingly more emphasis on exploration, and possibly uh, some open world light game mechanics. Now, I'm going to be talking about my speculations, things on my wish list, and theories of what could be part of the next game. The first thing I want to talk about is the Unmaker. Now in Eternal, we got the an angel version of the Unmaker. It was disappointing with a lot of people, especially me, because in the original Doom 64, the Unmaker was like the most powerful gun ever, right? Even more so than the BFG. Um, and in the Doom Eternal, it was a bit of a letdown. Now, presumably, the BFG might not be in the prequel in Doom: The Dark Ages because the BFG is made by the USC, and in the time and location we're quite separated from that part of the Doom universe. So we might need a new super weapon to fulfill that spot. And I think the original demonic version of the Unmaker might be a good fit for that. I think the hellish aesthetic of the weapon, updated of course, would be a great match to the Doom: The Dark Ages with its medieval metal look. Um, and the power of the Doom 64 Unmaker would, of course, be a nice replacement for the BFG, I think. And the Skull Crusher already kind of acts like the Unmaker, where it's a spread weapon. So I don't think it would be out of the question for another spread weapon like that. Um, Now, the next thing that we might not see, I think this was a bit more unlikely, but I still think it would be cool if it was included, is the Soul Cube. Now, similar to the BFG, we won't have Vega, right? And as you know, every Sherlock Holmes needs his Watson. Now, maybe they'll just play the game so the Doomslayer's alone. But if id Software still wants a talking voice companion to follow us and talk to us, giving the player information and potentially serving as a foil character, the Soul Cube I think could be a good replacement for Vega. Now, Doom 3 shows a picture of the original Doom guy holding the Soul Cube, so there's already precedence um, for our Doom guy interacting with the Soul Cube, and I think this would be a really fun way to connect the new Doom games to Doom 3. And another quick thing I want to mention, I'm not the first to mention this, but the Agadon Hunters we see in the trailer are most likely going to be our new Marauders, the new Black Belt rivals to really test the player to see if we truly master the mechanics of this new game. Now, earlier I mentioned open world like mechanics, or for Sonic nerds like me, a potential open zone game. Now, based on heavy speculation and scrummaging through other people's analysis and watching the trailer too many times myself, I this game looks like it's going to have huge, giant levels that we can explore, potentially having little tiny pockets of battles or of our allies and the forces of hell fighting that we can choose to enter and fight alongside our NPC brethren, and maybe even be able to recruit NPCs in our fight. Um, in the level to really make us feel that kind of fantasy epicness that's hinted at by Hugo in his interviews talking about this game. where he references that he wants us to feel like Leonidas in 300, or characters from Return of the King. Now, I want to talk about our dragon friend. I think that this could be a mechanic that takes us in between levels. In interviews where Higo talks about Doom 2016 in Eternal, he mentions how a big issue of 2016 was that in between combat was kind of boring, just walking between corridors, and Doom Eternal attempts to change that by making in between the combat more interesting by adding the pop up tentacles and more challenging platform. Now, I believe that this dragon could be something like that. In between levels or fights, we have to fly to new locations. Maybe it will play out like a rail shooter, kind of like Panzer Dragoon. But this is just speculation. I don't really have any evidence that this is what the dragon will serve. Now, the one thing I haven't heard too many people talk about online is the multiplayer. Um, it's most likely not going to be a traditional quick like arena shooter, because there just seems to be so many mechanics like the parry system, the shield, and the melee mechanics, which would probably make it not feel like a classic arena shooter. So what will be the multiplayer? Now, I really only see two possibilities: something completely experimental like battle mode, or no multiplayer at all. But I don't know enough yet to say one way or the other. Now, I'm really excited to see more about this game, to see another trailer, more interviews, and more information about the what type of game we're going to be getting into. Doom 2016, brought back the boomer shooter genre, and Doom Eternal gave us something new. Some people call it the movement shooter genre, and I believe Doom: The Dark Ages will follow this trend by giving us something we haven't seen really in any other game. Now, maybe I'm crazy, but based on other people's observations and my own deep speculation, I think that this game might be as innovative as Half-Life, but maybe that's just me being overhyped. Anyways, that's all I want to say for now. If this video does well, I might make more videos talking about Doom: The Dark Ages as more information comes out. But for all that's now, thank you for watching.